I spent a decade building a fortress for my queen, only to find out she was smuggling the gold out the back gate to build a new kingdom with a court jester. She thought I was the mark. I was about to become the monster. If you know what it feels like to be played, hit that subscribe button and follow this journey. The espresso machine hissed, the only sound in our kitchen that morning that wasn't a lie. I was leaning against the marble island, scanning the quarterly projections on my tablet. We were winning. I was winning. I'd just closed the biggest deal of my career, the one that fast-tracked our 5-year plan into right damn now. "Chloe," I said, a smile already in my voice. "You know the bonus structure I set up? It just hit. The full payout. We can break ground on the beach house by spring." Chloe was stirring a smoothie, her back to me. Her phone was propped against the blender, screen glowing. She didn't turn around. "Oh, wow. That's great, Mark. That was it. Not, that's incredible. Not, all your hard work paid off. Just, great." It was the verbal equivalent of a dead fish. It landed on the floor between us, and I just stared at it. This was the woman who used to color code our financial goals on a whiteboard. The woman who called me her ride or die. Now I couldn't even get her to look up from a text message. "You okay?" I asked, testing the water. "Yeah, fine," she snapped. A little too quick. She grabbed her smoothie. Just slammed. "This new client is a lot." She tapped the lid on. "I'm gonna take this in the office." Big call. She brushed past me. No kiss, no eye contact. Just the faint scent of a perfume I didn't recognize, and the click, click, click of her phone screen under her thumb as she walked down the hall. That was the first domino. I stood there, my coffee getting cold, and replayed the last 6 months in my head. It wasn't one big thing. It was 1,000 little paper cuts. It was the girls' nights that suddenly included work colleagues I'd never met. It was the side hustle interior design business she started, the one I funded, that seemed to require an awful lot of late-night client consultations. She was phoning it in. At dinner, in bed, in life. Anytime I tried to pin her down, to ask what was wrong, I got the greatest hits of gaslighting. "You're just stressed, Mark. You're being paranoid. Why can't you just be happy for me? My business is finally taking off." And like a chump, I'd backed off. I was the provider, the fixer. My job was to keep the engine running, not question the static on the radio. So I doubled down at work. I buried myself in spreadsheets and contracts, telling myself she was just tired. She was just finding her own way. That night I came home early. The house was quiet. Her car was in the drive, but the front hall was empty. I heard her voice, muffled, coming from our home office. I walked toward the door, ready to surprise her, maybe finally drag her out to that steak dinner. I stopped. My hand was on the doorknob, but I froze. Her voice. It wasn't the client voice. It was happy, giddy. A voice I hadn't heard directed at me in a year. "No, Alex, he doesn't have a clue," she was saying, and she laughed. A low, intimate laugh. "He's so buried in his stupid numbers he wouldn't notice if I painted the house purple." A pause. My blood turned to ice. I know," she continued. "I'm being careful. I'm moving the funds in small batches, using the business account just like we planned. He thinks I'm just buying fabric samples and antique furniture." Another pause. Her voice dropped, becoming almost a purr. "Just a few more months, babe. The last big transfer goes through on the 1st. As soon as his bonus lands, I'm moving it. By the time he figures out the POA, we'll be on a beach in Costa Rica, and our new venture will be fully funded. He's paying for our entire fresh start, Alex, and he's too arrogant to ever see it coming." I leaned my forehead against the cool wood of the door. I didn't feel anger. Not yet. That would come later. What I felt was clarity. A cold, sharp, perfect clarity. Every late night, every missed dinner, every cold shoulder, it all snapped into focus. It wasn't neglect. It was a strategy. I backed away from the door, silent. I walked into the kitchen, the one I paid for, and poured myself 2 fingers of the most expensive whiskey I owned. I sat in the dark living room and looked at the life I'd built. The custom furniture, the commissioned art, the symbols of our success. She wasn't just cheating on me. She wasn't just leaving me. She was liquidating me. She was playing me for the biggest fool in the state. I heard the office door open and her footsteps in the hall. She flipped on the kitchen light, and it spilled into the living room. She jumped. "Mark!" "God, you scared me. I didn't hear you come in." I swirled the whiskey in my glass, the ice clinking. I didn't look at her. "How was the call?" I asked, my voice perfectly level. "Oh, long, demanding client." she lied, moving toward the stairs. I'm beat. I'm heading up to bed. Okay, I said. I'll be up in a bit. Just reviewing some new numbers. Night, babe, she said, not even looking back. I sat there for a long time. The anger started to burn then, a low, controlled fire. She thought I was stupid. She thought I was just a walking, talking bank account. She thought she could take everything I'd earned, everything I'd built, and just walk away with her. Alex, she'd made a critical error. She mistook my patience for blindness. She thought she was running a game on a player. I pulled out my phone. I didn't call a lawyer. Not yet. I called my head of IT, a guy who owed me more than one favor. Hey, Dave, I said, my voice quiet. I need a favor. I need you to pull every bit of data from a personal server. Emails, texts, hidden files, deleted histories, everything, and I need it to be a ghost job. No trace. She wanted to play business. Fine. I was about to initiate the most hostile takeover of her life. The game was on. Dave delivered. 3 days later, a black, unencrypted hard drive landed on my desk, dropped off by an inter-office courier with a knowing look. I gave Dave the rest of the week off. Family emergency. He understood the code. That night, I didn't go home. I told Chloe I was stuck at the office. Quarterly review from hell. The lie slid off my tongue like it had been practicing. She just texted back, "Kay, don't wake me." I locked my office door, poured a stiff bourbon, and plugged in the drive. It wasn't a rabbit hole. It was a goddamn sewer. For 2 hours, I watched my life unspool in a series of file folders. Texts, emails, bank drafts, hidden ledgers for her business, and pictures. Lots of pictures. Alex wasn't just some random gigolo. He was Alex Vance, a slick, failed real estate bro I'd personally blacklisted from 2 different country clubs. A parasite. She hadn't just picked a lover. She'd picked a bottom feeder I wouldn't piss on if he was on fire. The texts were the worst. They weren't just "I love you" fluff. It was business. My business, Alex. Did he sign the new POA? Chloe, he did. He didn't even read it. Just mumbled "whatever you need, hon," and went back to his laptop. He's a total drone. Alex, good, the Shell Corp is ready. As soon as his bonus hits, you have a 48-hour window. Transfer it. We'll have it offshore before he even checks the balance. I scrolled further. They'd been at this for 8 months. They had a name for me. The Golden Goose. They mocked the vacation I took them on last summer, sending pics of themselves in my damn pool while I was on a 14-hour call. They had screenshots of my private accounts, my investment portfolio. She hadn't just opened the door. She'd given him the goddamn blueprints to the vault. My first instinct was primal. I wanted to go home, tear the hinges off the door, and throw them both out on the street with nothing but the clothes on their backs. But that's what the drone would do. That was the predictable mark. No, I closed the laptop, my hands perfectly steady. The anger was still there, but it was cold now. It was a tool. They thought I was a goose. I was about to become a goddamn wolf. They wanted my money? Fine, I was going to make them work for it. And then I was going to take everything. The next morning, I went home. Chloe was in the kitchen making her smoothie, phone propped up. Same script, different day. I came up behind her and wrapped my arms around her waist. She went rigid. "Mark, you're home early." "Felt like it," I said, burying my face in her neck, smelling the cheap cologne that wasn't mine. I had to fight the urge to gag. "I missed you," she gave a tight, uncomfortable laugh. "Missed me? I'm right here." "I know," I said, squeezing her. I put on my best, clueless, loving husband voice. "Listen, I've been a dick. Buried in work. Ignoring you. I'm sorry." I pulled back, forcing a sincere smile. "You're right. Your business is taking off. You deserve to be celebrated." She was watching me suspicious. The hamster wheel in her head was spinning. "Is this a trick?" "So," I continued, walking to the fridge. "That big bonus? It cleared this morning. The full amount." I saw her hand tighten on the counter. Her eyes darted to her phone. "Bingo. I want you to take a piece of it," I said, grabbing the orange juice. "A big piece. For your business. Whatever you need. New equipment, a studio space. Hell, take that trip to Milan you wanted. Research. You've earned it, Chloe." Her face was a mask of shock, then relief, then pure, unadulterated greed. I'd just confirmed her entire narrative. I was the arrogant, guilty husband throwing money at a problem. "Mark, wow, I don't know what to say," she stammered, putting a hand to her chest. "The picture of the grateful wife. Don't say anything," I said. "Just, I want us to be good again, okay? Okay, she whispered, and she actually kissed me. It felt like kissing an ashtray. The next day, I didn't call my usual corporate lawyer. I called a guy named Leo the Shark Garrison. Leo didn't handle divorces. He handled implosions. He specialized in financial fraud and asset recovery. His motto was, I don't get you half, I get you clean. I met him in a private club, the kind with thick carpets and thicker cigar smoke. I didn't bring the hard drive. I brought a single piece of paper. This is a power of attorney my wife had me sign 3 months ago, I said, sliding it across the table. I want to know exactly what it gives her. Leo put on a pair of glasses, read it, and grunted. This? This gives her your house, your car, your dog, and your left kidney. You signed this, Mark. You? I was busy, I said, and stupid. She's been transferring assets from our joint accounts into her business LLC, which this POA gives her full access to. Okay, Leo said, leaning back. Standard issue bleed out. We file an injunction, freeze the accounts. No, I cut him off. We don't, not yet. She's expecting a big bonus to hit my personal account. She's planning to move it all. Leo raised an eyebrow. You want her to move it? I want her to commit felony-grade wire fraud, I said, my voice flat. I'm giving her a bonus, Leo. A sorry I've been a shitty husband bonus. A 7-figure bonus. I'm going to put it in the joint account, not my personal one. I'm going to email her about it, telling her it's all for her business, creating a nice little paper trail. Leo started to smile. A slow, ugly smile. You're going to bait the trap. She'll move that money to her LLC, and that LLC is co-owned by her boyfriend, Alex Vance, I finished. She's not just moving marital assets. She's actively stealing from me, conspiring with a third party. She's not just a cheater, Leo. She's a criminal. I don't want a divorce. I want a prosecution. That's, Leo said, looking at me with newfound respect. That's diabolical and expensive. Get it done, I said, standing up. I want trackers on her car. I want PIs on both of them, 24/7. I want to know when they breathe, when they sleep, and when they spend. I want a complete forensic audit of every dime she's invested. I'm not just ending a marriage, Leo. I'm gutting a conspiracy. I walked out of the club and into the sunlight. I felt lighter than I had in a year. The drone was offline. The wolf was hungry, and I was just about to serve dinner. The transfer went through on a Tuesday. I made a damn ceremony out of it. I accidentally left my banking app open on my tablet, the 7-figure balance gleaming in our joint account. Then I sent her the email, CCing my fake personal address for my records. Subject, our fresh start. Hey babe, the bonus is in. I moved it all to the joint account like we discussed. Use every penny for your business. You've earned this. Let's make this thing huge. Love M. It was the digital equivalent of painting a giant free food sign on a bear trap. Chloe was insufferable. She practically vibrated with feigned gratitude. She started making my coffee again. She'd text me, I love you, in the middle of the day. She even tried to initiate sex, wearing this trashy lingerie Alex had probably picked out. I faked a pulled muscle from the gym. The thought of her touching me made my skin crawl. I played the part of the oblivious, guilty husband, soaking up her forgiveness. I was the biggest chump in the world, and I'd never been happier about it. Meanwhile, Leo's team was working overtime. My phone was a constant stream of updates. It wasn't just a hard drive anymore. It was a live feed of my wife's criminal enterprise. Ping, 1:15 p.m. A photo from a PI, Chloe and Alex clinking champagne glasses at a bistro downtown. The timestamp was 20 minutes after she'd left the house, telling me she had a brutal meeting with a new supplier. Ping, 4:30 p.m., an audio file. My car's bug was paying dividends. It was her talking to Alex on speaker. He totally bought it, Alex, the full amount. He's so desperate to fix things he didn't even read the wire transfer request I had him sign. Thinking it was for new inventory. The man's a fool. Ping, 9 Oz p.m., a report from the forensic accountant. The Shell Corp, CNA Designs LLC, had just received a wire transfer for $1.2 million, the exact amount of my bonus. I read that last text while standing on my balcony, looking out over the city I'd damn near conquered. They'd done it. They'd pulled the pin. I called Leo. We're green. She made the transfer. It's done. Leo's gravelly voice replied. The bank flagged it. I confirmed the authorization as her husband, and the feds have a copy of the flag. It's a clean bust, Mark. Wire fraud across state lines. How do you want to play it? She's not getting a quiet knock on the door, Leo, I said. This isn't a summons. This is a public execution. Book a table for 4 at the Pinnacle, tomorrow night. 8 o'clock. 4? You, me, my wife, I said, and a guest. The next night, I told Chloe to wear her best. We're celebrating, babe. The business, the money. Us. She was radiant. She wore a backless red dress that probably cost $3,000, paid for with my money. She looked like $1,000,000. Little did she know, she was about to cost herself a hell of a lot more. I got to the Pinnacle early. It's one of those places on the 50th floor, all glass walls and hushed tones where billionaires whisper to senators. You don't just eat there. You make a statement. Leo was already at the table, along with a severe-looking woman in a gray suit. Mark, this is Sarah Jenkins, Leo said. My best forensic accountant. She brought the party favors. Sarah nodded, not smiling, and tapped a thick spiral-bound report on the table. I sat down, ordered a bourbon, and waited. At 8:02, Chloe walked in. She was a goddamn movie star. Heads turned. Men stared. She glided toward the table, her smile bright and dazzling. Then she saw Leo and Sarah. Her smile didn't drop. It froze. It was a priceless piece of modern art. Confusion on greed. Mark, she said, her voice a little tight. Who's this? Chloe, honey, sit down, I said, my voice all warmth. This is Leo, my attorney. And this is Sarah, she's a financial analyst. I wanted them here to celebrate your success. She sat, perching on the edge of the chair. She didn't take off her coat. I don't understand. You're right, I said. Let's fix that. I slid the thick-bound report across the polished mahogany table. Congratulations on the new business, Chloe. Sarah's been auditing your books. She's very impressed. Chloe's hand trembled as she opened the cover. The first page wasn't a profit and loss statement. It was a surveillance photo of her and Alex kissing on the hood of his car, dated, timed. Her face went white. She snapped the report shut. Mark, what is this? This is insane. Who took this? I did, I lied. Well, I paid for it. Turn the page. She flipped it. Page 2, a copy of the wire transfer for $1.2 million. Page 3, the Articles of Incorporation for C&A Designs LLC, listing Alexander Vance as co-owner. Page 4, text messages. He's a total drone. The Golden Goose? She started to hyperventilate. This is out of context. This is private! I can't what, Chloe? I leaned forward, my voice dropping. The warmth was gone. The restaurant's ambient noise faded to a hum. Can't look at my own bank accounts? Can't see who my wife is conspiring with to commit felony wire fraud? You didn't start a business, Chloe. You started a conspiracy. You set me up, she whispered, tears welling in her eyes. The classic last-ditch effort. No, I said, my voice like ice. You set yourself up. I just provided the rope. Leo cleared his throat. It sounded like gravel in a blender. Here's the situation, Chloe, he said, all business. Right now, you are facing federal charges. Conspiracy to commit wire fraud carries a minimum of 5 years. Your boyfriend, Alex, gets 10. You've stolen, you've lied, and you were dumb enough to create a paper trail a first-year law student could follow to a conviction. She was openly crying now, her mascara running. Please, Mark, please, it was Alex. He pressured me. Save it, I snapped. The entire restaurant was pretending not to watch. Leo, tell her the options. Leo steepled his fingers. Option A, I waved to my associate at the bar who is dining with 2 federal marshals. They will come over here, place you in handcuffs, and arrest you in front of this entire room. Your mugshot will be on the 6 o'clock news before your dessert gets cold. You will lose everything, and you will go to prison. She choked on a sob. Or, Leo continued, sliding a single piece of paper and a pen across the table. Option B, you sign this. It's a post-nuptial agreement and a full confession. You give up all claims to this marriage. The house, the cars, the art, the accounts, all of it. You walk out of here with your handbag and the clothes on your back. You will agree to testify against Mr. Vance in exchange for us, recommending the DA not press charges against you. You will disappear, and you will never, ever contact Mark again. She stared at the paper. The confession. The end of her life. You're a monster, she hissed at me, the tears replaced by pure, uncut venom. No, Chloe, I said, taking a long, slow sip of my bourbon. I'm the drone. The Golden Goose? The stupid husband? You're the one who thought you could take a butcher knife to my back and I wouldn't turn around. I nodded at the pen. You have 60 seconds to decide if you prefer this pen or handcuffs, babe. The clock's ticking.